So it's what? Sunday. Yeah, Sunday the 8th of June. Now, you can't really see with this lighting, um, in the sense of, my tan or skin. Like you can see there, like there's white and there's brown. I want to talk about vitamin D and something I've noticed, and it might be complete bollocks, but I've noticed this. Now, as you know, I've taken high dosage of vitamin D for a long time. I've been an advocate for vitamin D for ages. Well, my skin type is quite fair. I'm My parents or my grandparents are Irish on one side. The other side are from London and Newcastle. So there's all different sort of. But I've never been one. I've got green eyes. My hair's brown, but it's got an auburn sort of hint to it when you look at, you can see at the end. Um, so I was lucky. I wasn't ginger, but I was close. So when I was a kid, I never really tanned that well. But when I did tan, I went golden. So anyway, my mum used to say to me, persevere, you're going, you hear all these people like, oh, I can't go brown, I can't go brown. And I'm like, everyone can go brown. So anyway, colour. When you look at the colour spectrum, when something shines red, it's it's absorbing certain colours and reflecting certain colours. And it's usually the red, yellow and blue, which are prime colours that all mix into one. But when a colour is reflecting, looking blue, it reflects all the colours that cause blue and absorbs all the other colours. That's why it looks blue, because it's all an illusion, isn't it? So colour has a heritage, as we know, like red's slower, blue's faster. Right, that's colour. So, but ultraviolet's different, isn't it? So ultraviolet's different again. So we know that UVB and UVA, but UVB mainly are the reasons why you go brown. And we know that melanin levels have something to do with tanning. And we know that if you live on the equator, you've got darker skin to someone who lives in the North Pole. So we also know that you can get too much vitamin D and that your skin will protect you from getting too much vitamin D by the melanin levels within it. I.e., if you've got darker skin, your melanin levels are higher, so therefore you don't maybe absorb as much vitamin D. But at the same time, if you look at white, right, if you've got a white surface in the sun, it's cool compared to a black surface in the sun. So logically, you think to yourself, well, why have black people got black skin? Surely it'd make more sense to have white skin living in a hot area because you wouldn't get as hot, right? Because the surface temperature doesn't get hot. But in actual fact, it's the opposite because it's to do with the melamine levels. Well, lots of black people who live in the Northern Hemisphere suffer from lack of vitamin D because their skin won't allow them to absorb as much vitamin D as they need because of the melamine levels in their skin. So that's why you've got these a lot of Indian people where their skin's gone lighter in places. It's almost like the body's compensating for the fact it can't get vital vitamin D that it needs for its immune response. So I have come to the conclusion that now people say to me, by the time the summer comes, obviously I take vitamin D all year, so my vitamin D levels are optimal now because I've done a test. I can go out in the sun an hour when the sun first starts coming out, and I turn colour. You can almost like watch my skin turn colour like someone's fading it in. I go brown exceptionally quick. Like, oh, Nina's brown. Or Izzy's brown. It's like, huh? How are you? And people will constantly say, how are you so brown already? And it's got to be because I take vitamin D. Now, if my vitamin D levels are here instead of here, the moment I get UVB, my skin's responding with shit, we can't have a toxic response, so it makes my skin darker to compensate for the fact that I'm getting more vitamin D and my vitamin D levels are already optimal. Now, maybe people who can't tan, the reason why they can't tan is they're never getting enough vitamin D. So their skin won't change colour to compensate for that because they need vitamin D. Now, this is the sort of form we get in England. It's probably, I don't know if it's reversed or not because it might not be. It might be reversed here. Like you might not be able to see it. I don't know if this. If I was using my Apple Mac, it would auto reverse the image. But this is a standard 300 IU, and it's just to take one a day. Now that's like pissing in the sea. Um, this is the other ones you can get by prescription or by chemist for you. But this one says take it every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. Every other day maybe, but once a week is probably minimum. I say my parents and that take one of those once a week. I take three of those every day as well. I'm not sitting here saying to you take huge quantities of vitamin D. These are the ones I got from Italy, and they're 10,000 IU. Let me see there, 10,000 IU. They say take these daily. That's in Italy, and Italy's definitely got more sun than England. But in England, we'll take one of those every 2 weeks. Take one of those a day. Serious, right? The other thing you need as well is vitamin K2. And the reason why you need vitamin K2 is to do with the way that the calcium is transferred after you take vitamin D, and it not sitting in your arteries and your veins and causing issues. Now, you'd have to take stupid amounts, um, and you'd have to probably take calcium tablets. And I don't advise anyone to take calcium tablets. But the thing is, with me, I don't particularly consume dairy, um, so but you've got to be fucking vigilant here. So my suggestion is go to Boots or Tesco's, get yourself a vitamin D kit, try it. If you come up under optimal, then I suggest you've got, it's almost like it goes into the system as colicidal, right? Now colicidal is then processed by the liver into a substance called califidol. Calif it's not actually califidol, it's pronounced different to that, but that's the only way I'm going to be able to pronounce it. But that is almost like immune system response stuff. So if your immune system then responds to something or gets something comes in that's going to start attacking, your califidol levels will start depleting. So if you don't keep getting vitamin D and transferring it into califidol, in the end this depletes that much that in the end your immune system's on the floor and you get sick. So it's almost like you have to top them back up again because you use califidol all day, every day, fighting different things that come into the environment. So you have to keep it topped up. And it took me a long while to get my levels right. So I've done a few vitamin D tests and I now know that 10,000 IU for me a day, including sunlight when I can get it, is optimal. So if I'm out in the sun for the day, like when we were on holiday, I went on holiday for 10 days. It was sunny every day. I took vitamin D 2 days in them 10 days. The other 8 days, I didn't take vitamin D. I went in the sun when my shadow was shorter than me with no suntan lotion on and got my daily dose of vitamin D. The moment my skin had had too much before I burnt, I covered myself up or sat in the shade. Because putting suntan lotion on is fine if you've got no choice. But to go and lay in the sun? No. Go and lay in the sun the amount of time your skin can tolerate without suntan lotion, then cover up and build your skin up. Because as you build your skin up, your melamine levels become higher. So therefore you can't absorb as much. Basically, you don't need any more than half an hour to an hour's sun every day in order to have optimum vitamin D levels and be brown, you know? And unfortunately, we do go darker. So as you go darker, your skin does actually get hotter, doesn't it? Because black gets hotter than white in direct sunlight. So it's the burn then. You've got to make sure you still don't burn yourself. You don't want to burn, as in like put yourself under a grill and burning, but you need the light from the sun for a period of time before you burn. But you've got to work out how long that can be. You don't just put loads of oil on your skin, seal yourself up so you can't breathe, and then wonder why it's like cooking an egg. When you start sweating and all the sweat like cooks on the top of the oil, like an egg cooking in a frying pan, burns your skin, and that actually is the thing that causes cancer, not so much the UVB. You don't get to that point. Your sweat causes a lot of it beforehand. Anyway, anyone else noticed who's got optimum vitamin D levels how their tanning ability is a lot better than it used to be? It's just something I've observed. It might could be complete horseshit, but it's quite interesting. Peace, love, and light.